Hi, Minister Sudds. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, the centerpiece of today's announcement is a $1 billion low-cost loan program and $60 million in non-repayable grants to build and renovate childcare centers. Why do you think that loans and grants will be attractive to childcare operators?
Well, as we've been building out this national early learning and childcare system, I have the opportunity to meet obviously with children, with parents, but also with operators across the country to hear feedback of how this is going. We have a goal of increasing the number of spaces by 250,000 by March of 2026. And undoubtedly, when I speak particularly with the nonprofit sector and the public sector, one of the challenges that they face, despite their ambition to grow the number of spaces, is access to capital and being able to finance expansion, whether that's expanding their current space or whether that's building a new center. And so as we have announced today, a $1 billion low-cost loan program, as well as $60 million in grants, will provide that support so that we can see more non-for-profit and public centers increasing the number of spaces across the country. I have to tell you that there are many parents in many parts of this country who are waiting for these spaces. And I have no doubt, as I'm already starting to hear from some of the operators here today, that this is welcome news that will make an impact in being able to speed up the number of spaces that are provided and ensure that not only we reach our goals, but we exceed them for Canadian families.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up on those goals. In 2021, you did say, your government did, that it would create 250,000 childcare spaces by the year 2026. As you noted, they're all of them with an average cost of $10 per day. How close are you to that goal right now?
Yeah, so good news is we are certainly making incredible progress. So on the space creation side, we've seen over 100,000 spaces that have already been announced in just a short amount of time. And no point in history have we ever seen the system build out so quickly. So great progress on the space creation side. On affordability, every province and territory very quickly reached 50% fee reductions. This is incredible savings for families. Here in BC, where I am right now, that equals about $6,600 a year on average per child in savings for families. We've also had now 8 provinces and territories that have reached $10 a day already, 2 years ahead of schedule. So we're seeing affordability gravely impacted to the benefit of families across the country. We're seeing new spaces be created. And as I've highlighted with our announcement today, being able to provide low-cost loans to the non-for-profit and public operators who want to open up more spaces to take care of more children. I'm excited to see the progress that will make in ensuring we reach and exceed the 250,000 spaces that we've announced and committed to doing alongside the provinces and territories. And I'll also point out at this point in time, we have been able to support 750,000, so 750,000 families across this country who've been able to access this care. I know I talk to moms and dads on a regular basis, and I get to hear the impact that this is having on their monthly budgets, and it's really quite incredible.
But Minister, with all due respect, you've got less than 2 years to create another 150,000 spaces. Do you think that's possible?
I absolutely think it's possible. We'll continue working with the provinces and territories. Each one of the provinces and territories have signed 5-year agreements with us outlining our expectations and our joint commitment to create new spaces. We'll continue that work, but I fully expect With our initial $30 billion investment and the additional $1 billion in loans that we've announced today, that families across this country can count on us and can count on their province and territory to collaborate with us to ensure we get to those goals.
Now, that creating the spaces and the infrastructure around it was just one part of the announcement. The other one was $48 million for student loan forgiveness to early childhood educators. However, we continue to see a shortage in staffing. In 2021, the median hourly wage for staff working in licensed childcare facilities was $20 an hour. What work is the federal government going to do to try and make sure that this job is more attractive so that more workers will want to take on the job, so that more kids can be taken care of in these childcare facilities?
Yeah. So the early childhood educators that work in these childcare centers are truly the heart of the system. They are what enable moms and dads to go to work every day with comfort that their children are well taken care of. And we have expectations in our agreements with all the provinces and territories that they support with our funding and with contributions of their own, that they support this workforce in a few different ways. So one of them is by implementing wage grids. Various provinces and territories are at different points in that journey to develop these wage grids, but they all need to be in place by at the latest 2026. Some provinces doing better than others. Here in BC, we've seen since the signing of agreements that the wages have increased by $6 an hour to date, and more to come. The announcement and the investment that we've shared today is one more layer of investments that we've made in order to ensure that more young people, more individuals consider early childhood education as a career path, but that they also look to rural and remote communities that really, really need these caring souls to get there, to be able to support young families and centers that are caring for children there. Yeah. So this is really about increasing the availability of ECEs, and we'll continue the work with the provinces and territories to make sure that the wage grids are put in place and that these individuals are treated as they should be, with fair compensation.
Minister, I'm running out of time, but I wanted to ask you one last question more broadly about the recent rollout of announcements ahead of the budget that your government is doing. There's clearly a focus on younger Canadians right now. So I guess I'm wondering if your government is trying to target a section of the population that clearly has been open to the message that they've been hearing more recently from the leader of the Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre.
I think that what you're seeing as we are beginning these announcements with respect to our budget is addressing the sentiment and the reality that many young Canadians, especially those in their 20s and 30s, are feeling. And we see that and we hear that. And I think it's important as we move forward, and as you will see in our budget rollout, that we recognize that we need to ensure generational fairness. We need to ensure that the generations, that the millennials and the Gen Zs of today can see that they have a meaningful place moving forward where they can achieve their dreams and their goals just like their parents were able to. And so as we move forward today, as I said, with these announcements with respect to childcare, yesterday's announcements with respect to the housing and the rental market, these are all concrete actions that our government is taking to ensure that young Canadians are able to succeed and can see that pathway forward. You know, I would conversely say that despite the conservative approach of negativity and frankly just plain not being truthful with Canadians, we are here to ensure that young Canadians see themselves succeeding and understand that their government is here to support them in that journey.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Minister of Families, Children and Social Development, Jenna Sudds. Thanks so much for taking the time.